The final week of the 2018-19 regular season is upon us. And with it, Sunday afternoon basketball here at Soika Pavilion as the Bucknell Bison look to snap a two-game losing streak by welcoming in the Lafayette Leopards. And a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome inside Soika Pavilion alongside former Bison point guard Abe Badmus. My name is Joe Vasile. For Bucknell, they come in on a two-game losing streak. Lafayette, a five-game winning streak. The hottest team in the Patriot League. And as we take a look at the standings, you see a bunch around the top as there are three teams separated by a half game each.
Three teams who all want that top spot. They all want to play at home come playoff time. And it's going to be a nice and interesting finish this last week of Patriot League play. Look for the Bison to make this last effort push in order to come out on top of the league.
Lafayette make a strong charge here as of late. They've been led by an outstanding guard and three-point shooter in Justin Jaworski.
Three-point shooter indeed, Joe. He has scored a three-pointer in his last 44 games. Not only that, he's shooting 48% from the three-point line, averaging about 14 a game. You're going to look to see, you got to make sure you find him in transition because you're going to look to see him in just about every offensive possession.
Meanwhile, if Bucknell's going to break this two-game losing streak that they're in, they're going to have to turn to the big man, Nate Sestina.
Got to give it to him early and often, but more importantly for Nate, he's got to stay on the floor. Gets in foul trouble early, and that really puts him behind coming into the second half. He's doing really well. He's scoring 16 points a game, averaging 8 rebounds, shooting 55% from the field, but the most important thing is stay on the floor.
All right, so Abe, what are you looking for? What are your keys to the game today?
Lafayette, for them to win this game today, they have to defend the post by committee. They have to help inside, make sure they get the ball out of guys like Nate Sestina's hands, and then close out, obviously, on the perimeter. For the Bison, in order for them to win today's game, they have to defend this spread offense that Lafayette's been running for the last 20-some-odd years. I come out here and I see some of the same plays that they ran when I was playing. They got to defend it because it's very, very hard to defend when you got five guys who can stretch the floor and score all over the field.
Those are the Coast Keys to the game as we continue on the Office Depot Office Max pregame show. We send it to Paul Grippi, who had a chance to catch up earlier today with Nathan Davis.
Okay, Coach, coming off a couple of losses, what has been the focus for your team in practice the last few days?
Well, defensively, it's been sustaining our defense, playing ball screens. Offensively, our big issue is that we just aren't driving and kicking enough. We shoot a great percentage when the ball goes inside out. When we try to finish over two guys, or we don't go inside out, we struggle. So we got to get back to doing those things.
Okay, this Lafayette team here, your team comes out. What are you going to be looking for in the first few minutes of the game as far as matchups and the tone that your team's going to set?
I think playing with energy, guys flying around, getting deflections defensively, and having pace offensively where the ball is moving, and like I said, going inside out.
Okay, a big Patriot League game as the Bucknell Bison try to hold on to first place.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. We'll take a step aside when we return on the Office Depot Office Max pregame show. Daily items, starting lineups from Soika Pavilion. You're watching Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQM1.
Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQMY is brought to you by Fairfield Auto, Wendy's, quality is our choice, and by Geisinger.
We welcome you back inside Soika Pavilion alongside former Bison point guard Abe Badmus. Joe Vasile, you take a look at the daily items, starting lineups for the red-hot Lafayette Leopards. Fran O'Hanlon has used 11 different starting lineups this season, but this starting five has been the five during this game, winning streak for Lafayette. And they've got all kinds of depth. We're going to see a lot of rotations and a lot of different guys touching the ball all day for Lafayette.
Absolutely, and make sure you keep an eye out for Alex Petrie. When he comes into the game, he's going to be looking to score early and often.
Yeah, Petrie's going to be coming off the bench for Lafayette. He's the one standing there in number 21 you see on your screen. He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Year last season. Meanwhile, you take a look at the starting five for the Bucknell Bison. No surprises there for the home squad. We told you. It's going to be Nate Sestina having to keep himself on the floor and dominate inside, but he can also step out and shoot.
Yeah, he scored 33 three-pointers this season. That's pretty high. I don't even think I got 30 when I was playing as a guard. He can score in any part of the floor, but really what you want to see him do is damage inside.
James, Leon, Ryan, those are officials so far here today. Both teams in their final huddles getting set for action here today. You see the special shooting shirts that Bucknell has on today. It is Hero Day. each player wearing a different fallen U.S. service member's name on the back of their shooting shirt today. The women did a similar thing earlier this year. Today, the men are doing it as well. There was a big flag presentation and a lot of military and first responders on hand here today.
Yeah, it's really nice to see, and just always brings you back to the memory and the reminder that we're all fortunate enough to do this because the people who are giving service to us in our country.
We take a look at the last meeting for these two teams. It was February 2nd. Bucknell won running away, although that game was very close in the first half. The Bison pulled away in the second. That's also the last time that the Leopards have lost a game this year.
Yeah, and I'm sure that left a taste in their mouth, absolutely, at that time. But since then, they have really turned it on, and it's been lights out for the Leopards.
It'll be Bruce Moore jumping center against the 6'10" Sean Good, and the Leopards control it first. Underway here today, Lafayette in the road maroon jerseys with white trimmings. Bucknell in those home whites. Good ball movement as usual out of Lafayette on this first possession, and knocking down a three-pointer is Kyle Stout to get things going.
And you better keep an eye out for him, shooting 43% from the three-point line this season. He is definitely a guy who can do some damage beyond the arc.
And Lafayette, the second best three-point shooting team in the conference at 38% this year as a team.
And you saw there they were trying to get Bruce Moore with in a high-low situation. He was open, just couldn't catch on to it quite well.
Jimmy Sotos finds Sestina for the catch-and-shoot three, and Bucknell answers.
Really nice action there, setting that flare screen and stepping out. Wide open he was. Sure, you're not going to see that too often tonight. They know how much damage he can do from beyond the three-point line.
That three-pointer, Dunkin' Donuts donating another 3 pounds of coffee to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank as part of the Dunkin' three-point challenge this season. 3 pounds of coffee for every three-pointer made by Bucknell here today. Three-pointer from Lucas Jarrett is off the mark, and Sestina there to clean the miss. Sotos spins into the corner. He's been dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury over the last month or so, but steadily progressing and getting back to full strength.
Yeah, he had a good game last game, and didn't play particularly well the game before that at Holy Cross, but you know you want to see him finding open people. That's what he does the best. And you see Nate Sestina knocking down his second three-pointer of the night.
Good sign for Bucknell. They've connected on their first 2 3-pointers of the game after they've really been struggling from beyond the arc, shooting just 28% over the last 3. One of the reasons this Bucknell team has dropped 2 in a row in the Patriot League for the first time since 2016. Good has it, gives outside for Stout. An off-balance shot for 3 is good.
Pretty impressive shot there. I mean, off balance, falling out of bounds. I mean, he shot that one from behind the backboard.
I think they're going to go and take a look at that one and make sure that that was a 3. So we have a foul called against Lucas Jarrett of Lafayette. And you take a look at the longest tenured coach in the Patriot League, Fran O'Hanlon of the Lafayette Leopards. 324 wins, the winningest coach in Patriot League history.
And I tell you one thing that you can put a tag on for him is consistency. They consistently play the same offense year in and year out, and it's really high level, high efficiency as well.
We have a timeout taken by the officials. They're going to go back and look at that three-pointer from Kyle Stout. As I got to say, from our angle, it looked like Stout at very least had his foot on the line, if not was a little bit inside the arc. I was kind of surprised when it was given as a three-pointer, so we'll see as our officials huddling around go take another look. Determine whether or not it'll be a tie game or a 1-point lead for Bucknell. As you know, normally you only go to the replays kind of late as you'll take a look. Gonna watch for that outside white line. It's so hard to tell from that angle. You can't really see whether the front of his foot was touching the line or not.
I think that's inconclusive. From that angle that we had, I don't think you can determine anything, really. Still not a pretty impressive shot, though. 1 foot from the three-point line.
They review it and uphold the three-pointer. So we'll stay tied at 6. Couple of three-pointers for Kyle Scout and Nate Sestina. Soto's underneath. Sestina kicks to Bruce Moore for 2 with his foot on the line. He knocks it down.
Perfectly executed play there. Nate Sestina got the ball in the post and saw weak side and skipped it over to Bruce.
Inside, Lucas Jared's shot disrupted. They announced it here in the arena for 3, but the official was calling for 2. And they've now corrected that up on the scoreboard. McKenzie on the drive, bucket and a foul for Kimball McKenzie.
See the Bison here doing whatever they want. Kimball McKenzie on a straight line drive after a reversal. This is really, really good basketball, but here you're gonna see the reversal there and the straight line drive, taking the contact and finish it strong, trying to go for 3.
So Kimball McKenzie, best free throw shooter on the team at 85% this year. Head to the free throw line is just going to connect and convert on the three-point play. Bucknell out to an 11-6 lead. A couple minutes into the game, and Paul Newman will check in for Nate Sestina.
And I think this is a good move. They usually make the first substitution at the 16-minute mark, but after Nate Sestina getting a few buckets, don't want him to get in any kind of foul trouble. You see the offense is flowing. I think that's a good move by Nate Davis.
Corlius Jalise is in the game. He'll be number 33 for Lafayette. He picked up his 1,000th career points in the Leopards' last game, is pulling up for a long 2. And off the mark was E.J. Stevens. A lot of foot on the line 2s in the early going.
Yeah.
McKenzie kicks out to Sotos and mishandles the return pass.
See, the Bison are really trying to work the interior here and make sure that they bring some help. And if not, you make them pay. But this is the recipe to after coming off of 2 losses like that.
Little inside-out game. Paul Newman the assist on Jimmy Sotos' three-pointer. It's 3 more pounds of coffee from Duncan to the Central PA Food Bank.
And that's the type of basketball you want to see the Bison play. Inside out. I believe the stat of the day, when the ball is coming from the inside out, they're shooting about 58% from the field, as opposed to taking contested shots. When you have 2 or more guys on you, they're shooting under 20% from the field.
Avi Toomer going to try and drive. Contested shot was no good, but Paul Newman grabs the offensive rebound. Bucknell with an early 3-0 advantage on the glass. Lafayette hasn't grabbed a miss yet. Moore drives and is fouled. That'll bring us to a timeout on the floor with 15:41 left to go in the first. It's Bucknell on top of Lafayette, 14-8, as the Bison on fire from deep. There's a reason why you come here with every visit. We embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 32 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership. We're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield for fair deals. You're gonna love us. Alongside former Bison point guard Abe Badmus, Joe Vasile with you at Soika Pavilion. You take a look at our marquee matchup today. It's kind of going to be out at the wings. We talked about Justin Jaworski pregame, but Avi Toomer has had a really good season in his junior year for Bucknell.
He sure has. We all know what he could do off defensively, but where he's really making leaps and bounds is on the offensive end. The last game of the season, the last game that they just had, he was a high scorer with 16. But today, he really needs to hang his hat on defense because he's going up against a juggernaut three-point shooter in Justin Jaworski.
As we reset, heading to the free throw line is going to be Bruce Moore. Fouled in the act of shooting by Paulius Jalise. Already the 3rd Lafayette foul in the first half, as Moore is no good on the first free throw. And Moore, despite his size, usually pretty good from the straight.
Yeah, he's shooting it better. You can tell he's just been way more confident this season all around.
Missed them both. Lafayette grabs its first rebound of the game as E.J. Stevens had it off the glass. Andrew Funk is checked in for the Bison out of the media timeout. In the game wearing 10 in white, guarding Stevens. Now it's Jalise. A little jab step move. Couldn't connect on the shot, and the rebound eventually gotten by Kimball McKenzie.
You see how critical the big man is in Lafayette's offense. A lot of things run through that top of the key big man, and they make a lot of things happen, both shooting it and passing it.
Funk for three, rattles home. Friendly roll for Andrew Funk. Bucknell a perfect 4 of 4 from deep so far.
That ball had a little bit of funk on it, the way it was bouncing around the rim.
Miles Cherry, the Australian, with a touch on the perimeter. He hands off. Petrie on the drive, pulls up, no. Newman got the miss for Bucknell.
And this Petrie guy can really fill it up. He is aggressive at all points of the game. I would call him a non-facilitator. When he's out there, he's looking to score for himself.
Andrew Funk knocks down another. He had a career-high 15 against Lafayette in the first game. He's already got 6 in about a minute and a half on the floor. Jalise trying to drive in. Instead, he'll kick. Petrie cycles to Justin Jaworski, who had no room. Now Miles Cherry backing down Paul Newman in the post. Cherry, no. Great defense by Paul.
Great defense, and that's a shot that he can take and make. But you saw the contested hands straight up high. Really good contest there.
Newman kicks it out. Funk off the front of the rim. Oh man, Soika would have exploded if that one went down.
They wouldn't have went off. That was a really good possession though. Really looking for the right guys on the floor now. This is how you play Bison basketball.
Foul whistled with 13:33 left to go in the first. It's going to go against Andrew Funk, his first and the first against the Bison so far. Sestina and Soto's going to come back in. Nate Jones and John Meeks come onto the floor for the first time for Bucknell. Isaac Suffren and Tyrone Perry into the game for the Lafayette Leopards, as well as Dylan Hastings as the pass goes off Suffren's hands and out of bounds.
A little too congested there for that kind of pass. I'm assuming someone was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
There you see Nathan Davis, head coach of the Bucknell Bison, his 4th season at the helm. It's been a lot of success. 3 straight regular season Patriot League championships under his belt in his first 3 years, looking to pull off a 4th straight and 5 in a row overall for the program, which would be a Patriot League record. Nate Jones with his first touch on offense gives to Jimmy Sotos. Now inside to Meeks. Meeks, turnaround shot, couldn't get the friendly roll. Andrew Funk with the offensive rebound.
Now we know Andrew Funk does a lot of damage at the three-point line, but we rarely see him in the paint getting offensive rebounds and putbacks. Really good effort by the young man today.
Hastings, hands off for Alex Petrie. He fires from 3, no good on the shot. Nate Sestina grabs the rebound. Now Jimmy Soto streaking to the basket, throws up a teardrop and knocks it down. 5 points in the early going for Sotos.
Really good to see these guards aggressive early in the game like this.
It's a 10-0 Bucknell run. Petrie trying to break it, drives in, has his shot blocked, but Soto's going to get called for a foul.
And you saw that the whole time through. He noticed he had a big on him. He was going to take advantage of that mismatch, and he's going to get his opportunity to get himself on the box score really early here with the jab there. Nice hesitation and drive, and wrong place at the wrong time for Jimmy Sotos.
Alex Petrie, an 80% foul shooter on the year, misses the first. He was up over 90 last year. That's a very rare miss for him.
This guy fills it up, and like I said earlier, you want to keep track of him at all points of the game because he's always aggressive.
And he goes 0 for 2 at the stripe and can't put an end to this Bucknell run. Bison coming out looking sharp, Abe. We talked about how they practiced well this week, and it's showing up on the floor as Andrew Funk already has 10 points off the bench.
Yeah, and he's getting it in a myriad of ways. He's getting inside, going inside, outside. The most impressive one to me was the offensive rebound and the putback, though.
Dylan Hastings was off the mark on a three-pointer. Long pass ahead for Nate Sestina with the layup.
What a find by Jimmy Sotos, keeping his eyes up on the break, seeing a mismatch. This is how you rebound from 2 losses straight, coming back home like this.
Timeout taken by the Leopards. It's the Bucknell Bison up 20 with 11:40 left to go in the first as Nate Sestina turning it on in the early going.
You're watching Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQMY.
At Wendy's, we're all about serving up fresh food, even if it means going the extra mile. When you walk through our doors, we do what we can to make everyone feel at home because our family extends through your community. Here inside Soika Pavilion, the Bucknell Bison lighting it up from three-point range in the early going, already 5 of 6. They have a 28-8 lead over the Lafayette Leopards. And those 5 three-pointers mean it's already 15 pounds of coffee that Duncan will be donating to the Central PA Food Bank. And that number is going to continue to rise. As with 11:40 left in the first, Abe Badness, it's been a strong shooting start for Bucknell.
Strong shooting start, but more importantly, guys are finding people on the floor. You have 11 field goals, 8 assists. This is how you share the ball in a home game against a team who's on a really nice winning streak.
We're also joined here by a very special guest, Bucknell Athletics Director Jermaine Truax. Jermaine, first of all, this is your first year. How are you enjoying it here at Bucknell and in Lewisburg so far?
Oh, it's been fantastic. We have, I've been from coast to coast, talking with and visiting with so many of our passionate alums and supporters. It's just absolutely phenomenal, the way people care about this place and love this place. It's been tremendous, and Lewisburg is phenomenal. Those who don't know, I'm from Elmira, New York, which is only about an hour and 45 minutes from here. People have asked me about the transition from Chicago to Lewisburg. I said, well, this is more home than anything, particularly since I went to school in the state as well.
Wonderful. Bruce Moore with the bucket heading to the free throw line. I was going to say, Abe, you know a little bit about that Chicago to Bucknell transition.
Yeah, I actually was recruited by Loyola when I was a little younger. They probably wouldn't want any piece of me now, but I made that trip, and I know that drive down 80 quite well.
Bruce Moore makes good on the free throw for a three-point play. So I guess just let people get to know you a little bit. Where were you here before you came to Bucknell, and kind of how long have you been around athletics in college?
So I've been around probably over a decade now, but I feel like I've been around it all my life as a former student athlete. Sure. And so my previous stop right before here, I was the deputy athletic director at Loyola Chicago. For those who remember, because it's fresh on our minds still, part of the Final Four run there. So just a tremendous experience. Institutions like ours and there, you only do that ever so often, and it was just a phenomenal experience. But happy to be here now with the rich tradition that we have in basketball here, and trying to get back to the tournament and do what we do.
Well, that's great. I know you've only been here for less than a year. But tell me, have you been down to the Freeze at all? Because I know that's the one place when I come here, I got to stop by the Freeze, but I know it's closed in the wintertime. Have you brought your family down there yet?
We have not been to the Freeze yet. When I came in June, and I only had about 2 weeks lead time before I started here. And so I was really putting our house together and trying to figure out where everything is. And so I don't really feel like I had a full summer here yet. But once the sun comes out, we will go there because I heard a lot of fantastic things about it. So looking forward to getting over there as soon as the sun comes out, because I don't eat a whole lot of ice cream in the winter, that's for sure.
Yeah, not many people do. I think you have your priorities straight.
Miles Cherry knocks down a 3 for Lafayette to break a 19-0 Bucknell run. And Kimball McKenzie answers back with a quick two-pointer. I was going to say, Bucknell, obviously on the men's side, first place in the Patriot League. Same for the women's basketball team. Seems like already you're kind of getting thrown in, and just about every team has had a lot of success in the early going.
We have, and historically we've had a lot of success across our sports, but obviously our basketball are both playing very, very well right now. This is I heard you guys talking about a little earlier. This is a great way to respond today, coming off of a couple-game losing streak, so trying to get back to our winning ways. Something about Holy Cross and last-minute three-pointers on the road there happened to our men and happened to our women as well. But, you know, both programs right now are in a good spot. You know, it's control we can control here down the stretch and, you know, see what happens. But I like where we're sitting. It's nice to be able to control your own destiny here. So amazing that we're almost tournament time. You know, March 7th is right around the corner. So including today, 3 games left, and you know, we want to be playing our best basketball around this time.
Now, you're no stranger to this time of year, getting that name called on Selection Sunday. Tell me a little bit about how exciting it is just to be in this time of year, knowing that you're in the hunt, knowing that your name can be called, and knowing that you can compete come March time.
Oh, love it, love it. And again, coming off a Final Four run, Loyola Chicago, and then I know last year here, I wasn't here yet, but you know, playing Michigan State, you know, a tough draw, and particularly playing them in Detroit. So seeding is so important, but you know, it's for us, it's a league where we need to play well in our conference tournament, win that, hopefully, and then, you know, sitting around the table having a chance for an NCAA tournament is important, and it's just exciting. And also tied into that, you know, the way the NIT works is if you finish first in the regular season, you get an automatic bid to that. So either way, we want to make sure we're playing very well down the stretch, and we'll see what happens.
Bruce Moore knocks down another three-pointer. Bucknell just continues on this incredible run that they've been on. And we're here, of course, with Bucknell Athletic Director Jermaine Truax. It's been this great run. You talk about some postseason in the mix for the men and the women, hopefully coming up soon, needing to finish strong. What has, I guess, kind of been your impressions? And I mean, obviously, I know you're hoping that they've got it in them. What do they got to do kind of in your minds here?
We're, on the men's side, we're looking at it today, you know.
Exactly.
Play well in the first half. That's been a little bit of our Achilles heel all season long. You know, we've gotten off to some slow starts, and, you know, we fought back in the second half. But really, you know, if we play the way we're capable of playing, we'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good one. We've got a timeout taken by the Lafayette Leopards. So we're going to send it over to a break with 8:17 left to go in the first. It's Bucknell 40 and Lafayette 11. Jermaine Truax, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks a lot, Jermaine.
Bucknell Bison Basketball on MyTV WQMY is brought to you by Fairfield Auto, Wendy's, quality is our choice, and by Geising.
Back at Soika Pavilion, where Bucknell leads Lafayette 40-11. And in Coach Nate Davis's attempt to assemble an all-Nate team, we've seen Nate Sestina. Well, how about Nate Jones, today's spotlight player? He wears number 15, a senior for the Bison from Radford, Virginia, where he won a state championship in high school. Nate shoots 36% from three-point range and has made the Patriot League academic honor roll 3 years in a row. Nate comes from some interesting basketball family. His father, Mike Jones, is the head coach of the Radford men's basketball team. First place, by the way, in the Big South. But also take a look at his grandfather, Jimmy Jones, 10 years professional basketball player, including 7 years in the ABA, where he made 6 All-Star games. So Bucknell's Nate Jones comes from a basketball family doing a good job here for the Bison. And Joe, so far this game, he's really contributed well for them.
Certainly has. Paulus Jalise got fouled. The bucket was good off the foul from John Meek. So the Lithuanian to the free throw line to try and complete a three-point play, and he knocks it down.
And he comes right out of the game, but I really like the way he plays and what he does for this team. He's definitely the facilitator, and you saw him. We know he can score and has a myriad of moves down in the paint as well.
Wills from Kaunas, Lithuania, same hometown as Rapolis Ivanauskis from Colgate, who I'm sure a lot of Bucknell fans have tried to wipe that game out of their memory, but put up 21 on Tuesday against the Bison. Foul called away from the ball on Dylan Hastings of Lafayette.
I'm sure Lafayette wants to get every Bison's name out of their mind. The way the Bison are playing right now, shooting 80% from the field, 75% from the three-point line. This is as good as it gets offensively. They're putting on a clinic out here.
Sotos off the mark on a three-pointer, and the rebound had by Lafayette. Tipped to himself by Isaac Suffren. Leopards just trying to claw themselves back into this one bucket at a time. Suffren off the glass and good.
That was a tough move. He drives pretty hard, but to drive left and finish with your right falling away, it's a really tough shot.
First 2 points of the game for the freshman Suffren. It's Jimmy Sotos will kick it out, and it'll swing the ball around to Avi Toomer, who's fouled on the floor trying to drive in. It's going to be foul number 5, I believe. Pardon me, 6 against Lafayette. Foul goes against Austin Evans. John Meeks had the quick touch. Toomer again. Leave out for Sotos. Didn't miss that time. 8 points for Jimmy Sotos.
And you saw Avi Toomer looking for him. The second he came off of that ball screen, his eyes was looking on the opposite side of the floor for Sotos, who knocks it down cleanly.
Big defensive play. Now Toomer in transition. Cycles it around. Jimmy Sotos will leave off for Andrew Funk, already with 10 points in the game. Funk drives. Stripped of the ball. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Lafayette.
I thought that was a little bit of a foul there. Thought he got hit over the arm, but Funk is doing a really good job mixing up his attack, not only shooting the ball, getting on the offensive glass, but driving the ball as well.
Floated into Andrew Funk as Bucknell getting close to 45 already. Avi Toomer knocks it down. Another Duncan three-pointer, 3 more pounds of coffee to the Central PA Food Bank. That's 8 triples by Bucknell in the first half.
I mean, we're as generous as Oprah Winfrey used to be. I mean, everyone's getting a 3 here, and obviously you're going to get some coffee as well.
Dylan Hastings leaves outside as Lafayette needs answers on both sides of the ball. This game is already getting out of hands. Suffren kicks out. Justin Jaworski way off the mark. Then the other way, a foul as Sotos and Jaworski made contact with each other. This is going to go against the sophomore for Lafayette.
As you see here, Avi Toomer coming off that handoff, and you know what? He's feeling it, gets in his 1-2, and knocks it down cleanly.
Jimmy Sotos heading to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 as that's foul number 7 against Lafayette. It's the first that goes against Jaworski, who's basically been a non-factor today. Just 2 field goal attempts and 1 3-point attempt. Sotos hits the first of the 1-and-1.
Wonder if that streak is going to end today for Jaworski.
44 straight games with a 3-pointer made for Justin Jaworski as Sotos hits them both. That is the second longest streak in the nation. He's also the number 2 in terms of percentage 3-point shooter this year.
Just sitting here and looking at this Lafayette offense, how frequently the ball moves. It never really sticks. They really do a good job of moving the ball from side to side.
Pass was telegraphed and stolen by Sotos. 12 points for Jimmy, who's breaking out of a long slump offensively.
Breaking out of a slump. He must have heard me talking about how good the offense was. He said, not that good.
Bucknell, 19 field goals, 12 assists. Stout for 3, knocks it down for Lafayette. That's Kyle Stout's 3rd 3-pointer of the half.
Good find by Paulia Zalis on that drive there, looking for the open shooter.
Toomer from the mid-range leaves it short. Stout grabs the rebound as Bucknell gets set to make some more substitutions. Both teams will roll subs frequently as Alex Petrie lined up a 3 and miss. And Jalise got the rebound out long and then threw it out of bounds. Just not expecting the pass was Lucas Jarrett. Nate Jones, Kimball McKenzie come back in as you see a look of frustration from Fran O'Hanlon.
Well, guys are just throwing the ball away, and they need every possession they can get now. I mean, down with a pretty big lead in the first half. You want to take advantage of every possession to finish out this half.
You see Bucknell shooting the lights out from beyond the arc, already 8 of 11. Sotos trying to make it 9, but he cannot. Stout grab, the miss for Lafayette. Bucknell by 31 here in the first half. Alex Petrie gives into the corner for Tyrone Perry. Takes the 3 over Nate Jones and can't hit. Out of bounds on the rebound, it'll be Bucknell ball.
I think the Bison got away with one there. Perry was open in that corner for quite some time, but Leopards just couldn't find him quick enough, and he shot a contested 3 there.
Coming back into the game for Lafayette is Isaac Suffren. Frando Hanlon really likes to shuffle guys around. There's 10 different Leopards players averaging at least 12 minutes a game this year. Sotos crosses over, feeds to Jones, who has his shot blocked.
It's a great find.
And then the other way, Jones nearly comes away with a steal, crashing into the table. To the basket, no for Tyrone Perry. Nate Sestina with the defense. McKenzie, pump fake, drop it in 8. Bucknell will slow it down. Sestina sets the screen for Sotos. The feed too far ahead of Nate Sestina and out of bounds. It'll be a turnover for the Bison. Their first of the game, and that'll send us to a timeout on the floor with 3:25 left to go in the first. It's Bucknell 50, Lafayette 19. The Bison looking good. Geisinger Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, certified athletic trainers and physicians are proud to support the Bucknell Bison. Call Geisinger Orthopedics and Sports Medicine today to schedule an appointment, 866-957-1401, or visit geisinger.org. Since 1945, Blue Ribbon Dairy has been serving Northeast and Central Pennsylvania the freshest dairy and homemade ice cream. They offer a full line of dairy products and a daily delivery to customers throughout Pennsylvania. Call Blue Ribbon Dairy today to discuss your wholesale dairy needs or stop by their ice cream shop for a scoop of your favorite flavor or one of their hundreds of milkshakes and sundaes. At Soika Pavilion, it's feeling like a nice Sunday for Bucknell, up 50-19 on Lafayette with 3:25 left in the first. Joined by former Bison point guard Abe Badmus. Joe Vasile with you here today. Paul Grippy on the sideline as take a look. Bucknell shooting over 70% so far. Just playing some good defense as well as Suffren gives to Alex Petrie. Pump fake, the drive, runner for Petrie, no good. Nate Sestina grabs the miss.
What a
Moore
find.
Gets the bucket.
What a find by Jimmy Sotos. This guy has got his eyes are working today because he is finding people left and right all over the floor. What a pass.
4th assist already for Jimmy Sotos. As a foul called against Nate Sestina, he was going for a steal.
As you see there, it got tipped just a little bit, but he was able to find him. He saw the play before it happened and led Bruce Moore to that layup.
How hard of a pass is that to see as Jimmy Sotos?
That's incredibly difficult because not only do you need to get it through, but you got to trust that your teammate is going to be at the right place at the right time in order to catch it. And Bruce Moore certainly did that.
Petrie gives to Jalise underneath. Trying to force his way inside, and a foul called against Bruce Moore. Or no, sorry, they're going to get Nate Sestina.
I'm not sure that's the right call. I'm not sure that's the right call.
And everyone for Bucknell is saying it's on Bruce Moore. Bruce Moore is saying it's on Bruce Moore. They're pointing up at the replay monitor. Avi Toomer, yeah, let's take a look. Sestina's just to the left. Huh?
I guess they thought Nate fouled him there, and unfortunately, he's now on the bench.
Yeah, that's Nate's second. Lafayette able to knock it down. Polish Solis, the assist to Jaworski the other way. Sotos knocks down a three. I guess not much you can do if you're Bucknell at this point, except continue to knock down shots. They're at a double nickel here in the first half.
Not much you can do when Jimmy Sotos is knocking down threes coming off of ball screens as well.
Off the miss on the three, McKenzie drives through contact, bucket good.
Again, nice finish by McKenzie, but also better find by Jimmy Sotos, looking up and getting the ball, pushing it ahead on the break.
Ball stays in play, deflecting off an official. Lafayette catches a break. Toomer pokes it free, and it's stolen by Sotos. In transition, the bounce pass goes to Toomer, who will slow it down. As Lafayette got back well, Paul Newman inside, gets the bucket and the foul.
Everything's clicking on the offensive end. Paul Newman got a really good feed from Avi Toomer. And as you see here, he's gonna probe a little bit, and he's a lefty, finishing with that right hand with some contact. That's high-level basketball by Paul Newman.
Foul against Lucas Jarrett. He's going to pick up his second personal. Number 8 against Lafayette to the line to try and complete the three-point play, Paul Newman. And he gets the friendly roll.
Just that type of day, I guess.
60-21, Bucknell up by 39. Jaworski trying to change it and does.
And I knew it would only take a little bit of time for him to start getting going here, as we saw him just on that possession.
Sotos leaves to Paul Newman. Now McKenzie. Sotos, corner three, off the mark. And the rebound had by E.J. Stevens. Bucknell gets back in transition as Stevens, and a blocking foul. Get called against Bucknell. That'll send Stevens to the free throw line.
I think that was the right play there. I think he just landed strangely on his foot there, and the ref mistook that for a foul. I think if he had a better angle, he probably would have reversed that call.
So we'll send E.J. Stevens to the foul stripe as take a look at Isaac Suffren coming in. Sean Good making his return. Good tallest player on the Leopards at 6'10". As the sophomore Stevens misses the first of the 1-and-1.
He's tall, but he's thin of frame, and we definitely have the size advantage in terms of girth over him.
Sotos. Newman off the quick touch to Toomer, right back to him. And an offensive foul called against Paul Newman.
Right call. I didn't think that was Paul Newman's fault entirely. It's because of Avi's indecision that Paul Newman kind of was put in that situation.
Just the second turnover for Bucknell today. They've forced 7 from Lafayette. Dominating in all facets of this one are the Bison. Stevens to the corner for Suffren. Isaac Suffren, nowhere to go in the lane, nearly had his pass stolen. Stevens lines up a 3 and knocks it down. We're going to keep the Leopards quiet from beyond the arc for too long in this one.
No, you're starting to see him starting to click a little bit here. Hopefully the Bison can finish with a good possession to finish out this half here.
Shot clock is turned off. Sotos back for Toomer at the buzzer, knocks it down, and that's the half.
My oh my, what a shooting display this half.
Bucknell 10 of 15 from three-point range, as that's 30 pounds of coffee going from Duncan to the Central PA Food Bank in the first half alone, and they have a humongous lead heading into halftime here at Soika Pavilion. We'll be back with more right after this here on MyTV WQMY.
Bucknell Bison Basketball on MyTV WQMY is brought to you by Fairfield Auto, Wendy's, quality is our choice, and by Geisen.
Halftime here at Soika Pavilion. and the Bucknell Bison have reason to celebrate after that. 63-27, they lead Lafayette with only one half left in this game. So I'm joined by our halftime guest. She is Jamie Sam, marketing manager from Dunkin'. And Dunkin' has partnered with Bucknell this season to donate to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. How do the donations work?
Yes, so this season we've partnered with Bucknell and the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank, and we have a 3-point challenge program. And what it is for every 3 points Bucknell scores during our regionally televised programs, we donate 3 pounds of coffee back to our friends at the Central PA Food Bank.
Okay, so that's men or women?
Yes, men and women's basketball, correct.
Well, after today, I mean, we're going to just pick all the beans in Columbia, I think, right?
I know. Today is a great day for the Central PA Food Bank, yes.
Yeah. Why is that something that Dunkin' wants to do as part of the Joy in Childhood Foundation that Dunkin' runs? Why is this something that you guys want to be involved with?
So Dunkin's Joy in Childhood Foundation is our charity arm of our company, and our mission is to provide joy to sick and hungry children. So our local franchisees really want to rally around helping our local communities, especially because we know hunger is such a big part that's affecting a lot of our community. So anything we do to partner with the Central PA Food Bank, we really try to rally behind.
Well, not just that, though. Dunkin' is very prominent here at Soika Pavilion. Just how long and what's your relationship been with Bucknell here and Dunkin' and the long-term relationship you guys have?
So this is our second year officially partnering with Bucknell basketball. However, we've been a partner with the Central PA Food Bank for probably 10 years. We actually just donated $10,000 to them this past winter to help them with their cupboard program.
Okay, and how's your 3-point shot? Can you knock down a few if I put you in the game?
I'm 5'2", so I'd rather you not.
3-pointers don't discriminate against height. Anyone can hit that.
Okay, all right. We'll try after the game.
Okay, so they say America runs on Dunkin'. Well, Bucknell runs on Dunkin' as well. So Jamie Sam, marketing manager for Dunkin', as part of the Joy in Childhood Foundation, contributing coffee for every 3-pointer made this season. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with a member of the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. Stay with us. Halftime continues. You're watching college basketball on MyTV WQMY.
You're watching Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQMY.
Halftime here, and the Bison lead by 36, on their way, on pace to score 126 points in this game. That would be a record. Well, joining me now, Cindy Schull of the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank, and we just talked to Jamie about how Dunkin' has partnered with you guys to contribute coffee for every 3-pointer that the Bucknell men's and women's basketball team make this season. Tell me, what does the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank do?
The Central Pennsylvania Food Bank is a nonprofit that serves 27 counties in central Pennsylvania to fight to end hunger.
And what do those contributions of coffee do for you guys? Who will that go to? How will that help?
Anyone in the 27 counties that we serve in our programs serve those that are youth, seniors, veterans, active duty members. We have single parents. We have families who are working, who are choosing to pay for food or for a bill. So those are many of the faces that we serve.
And how did that partnership with Dunkin' come about, and how does it help you guys?
Oh, the partnership with Dunkin' is so appreciated. They have partnered in so many different capacities, and even on the local franchisee level, they are super involved in supporting to fight hunger in their local communities. So we have volunteers from Dunkin' Donuts all the time at the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank in Williamsport.
Have you been keeping track? I mean, the 3-pointers have been raining down in this game.
Oh, I haven't been keeping track, but what a game.
Yeah.
63-27. Bucknell's kicking butt.
Pretty good. Are you going to be able to use all the coffee that you're going to get for today?
We definitely are.
You might have to add a couple of cups a day for your own take.
Absolutely.
How can other people support the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank?
There's so many ways to serve, whether it's time, food, or money. Ways to figure out more specific opportunities to help would be visiting our website at www.centralpafoodbank.org.
Okay, and this partnership with Bucknell, do you get to come to a lot of games, and what's the relationship like with them?
Absolutely. Really, the collaboration is amazing between Dunkin' Bucknell and the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. It's really such a focus of community uniting to fight hunger. It's pretty awesome.
All right, thank you so much, and best of luck. This is Cindy Shull from the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank, and it's www.centralpafoodbank.com. And they have a great partnership with Duncan, the Joy in Childhood Foundation, and of course, the Bucknell Bison. Halftime will continue. We'll be back with the second half right after this. You're watching college basketball on MyTV, WQMY.
And I welcome you back inside Soika Pavilion at halftime alongside former Bison point guard Abe Badmus. Joe Basile here with you on MyTV, WQMY. And Abe, it was a record-setting first half for the Bucknell Bison. A 63-27 lead over Lafayette. The most points ever scored by Bucknell in a single half, breaking a 51-year-old record from 1968. It was, everything was going down.
Everything was going. They were scoring all over the floor, and as you're going to see here in these highlights, guys were just able to do whatever they wanted. It started early, and then it just never stopped. Jimmy Sotos got off. We saw Andrew Funk for a little bit. We saw our guy Nate Sestina getting off a little bit. And then obviously we finished with Avi Toomer, who was doing his thing there. But everybody was scoring at a high clip, shooting a really high percentage. Great half for the Bison.
Yeah, Bucknell not only did great work on the offensive side, but on the defensive side as well, holding Lafayette to just 37% shooting. They knocked down a couple of threes, as you see, late in the half, as they are a good three-point shooting team. But overall, Bucknell just, they completely had their way with the Leopards, who came into this game, as we talked about, the hottest team in the Patriot League with a 5-game winning streak, and it inserted itself in the conversation up near the top of the league.
Yeah, you can tell they came in confident, but the Bison put that to rest right away. Starting in the first few possessions, getting stops and getting early buckets, and it just cascaded from that point on. Bison are really in full control of this game today.
Take a look at some of the halftime stats. I mean, just look at turnovers, rebounds, shooting, every single thing favoring Bucknell, and not by a small margin, but by mammoth leaps. 10 three-pointers made in the first half. Bucknell in the last 3 games had only made about that many. I mean, it's been a very special performance.
Yeah, and you see the three-point margin. They both shot 15 threes, but look at the field goal margin. That means they're getting steals and getting out into transition much easier than the Leopards are.
Yeah, and grabbing rebounds as well, not allowing Lafayette second chances. See that 20-9 advantage, turnovers, getting to the free throw line. It's been very special for the Bison in the first half. And you also see that three-pointer number, 10 of 15 in the first half. Of course, as we continue this season with the Duncan three-point challenge, 3 pounds of coffee for every three-pointer made by the Bucknell Bison here at home this season, being donated to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. You heard Paul Grippy at halftime talking a little bit more to Duncan and the Central PA Food Bank about that. 30 pounds already here today as we're getting set for the start of half number 2. Abe, Bucknell, a couple school records in play in the second half, but of course also they got to come out strong because Lafayette is a team that can close this gap and make this one a ball game pretty quickly.
3 key words, 0-0. That's exactly how Nate Davis has to send the message to his team, because in a game like this, it's easy to fall behind and think that because of the lead, you can probably lose some of your habits that you use to get this lead. In order for them to continue and compound this lead, they have to see the game as 0-0 and try to win this second half.
Bucknell will have the ball first. They'll start with the starting 5 back on the floor of Jimmy Sotos, Bruce Moore, Avi Toomer, Nate Sestina, and Kimball McKenzie. Meanwhile, Lafayette taking a little bit of extra time in their huddle, making sure they use every second on the clock to prepare themselves for a second half. Lafayette erased a double-digit second half deficit in their last game, but it wasn't
like
quite this big of a deficit that the Leopards faced. So we'll see what they're able to do here. They're going to have to start getting some stops, as again, Bucknell shooting over 72% from the floor in the first half.
And I think the key is starting, and you see here Franny O'Hanlon going into their 1-3-1 zone. You rarely see this, but what else can you do when you see a team score 63 in the first half?
They got the steal off that zone, but Lucas Jarrett couldn't finish with the layup. Now McKenzie for three, and Bucknell picks up right where it left off.
My, oh my, this is just a mirage right now. It's crazy to see guys just coming on in transition and shooting pull-up threes.
E.J. Stevens leaves it short after another Dunkin' Donuts three-pointer by Bucknell. This one belonging to Kimball McKenzie, who's a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor today for 10 points.
You see Nate Sestina fighting hard for position in the paint there. Gotta feed the big fella.
Sestina comes out and sets a screen for Sotos. Now McKenzie dumps it back inside. Sestina double team. They kick out. Sotos left alone. A little bit too strong. Bruce Moore grabs the offensive rebound and gets the putback.
Bruce just happened to be in the right place at the right time. You see a little smile on his face. He knew just being there was pretty lucky to begin with.
Quick trigger three from Kyle Stout. Gets Lafayette its first points in the second half. Bucknell leads by 38.
You see here this little zone defense that Franny O'Hanlon, I'm sure, is really not wanting to make.
McKenzie, another three-pointer made, another 3 pounds of coffee going from Duncan to the Central PA Food Bank.
And unfortunately, that zone just still isn't the answer as to how you defend the Bison when they're shooting it like this.
A turnover for the Leopards as Kyle Stout trying to catch a pass, got tripped up. Ball deflects out of bounds off his hands. Dylan Hastings going to check in for the Leopards, a sophomore from Quarryville, Pennsylvania. And the Bison will get right back to work on offense. As, you know, Abe, you get those days where just everything's clicking. Do you ever remember a game from when you were playing when just kind of everyone seemed to be knocking down shots like this?
I mean, I remember a few games like that. I mean, we played pretty well at home, and I remember playing against Army one time and Navy one time where we set a few records ourselves, but nothing like 63 points in the first half.
Avi Toomer hits another three. Bucknell 13 of 19 from deep today.
This is something else.
Stout drives, and the layup is good. 14 points for Kyle Stout, but being completely overshadowed by this Bucknell offensive performance. Up by 42.
And you see, even with an adjustment like this defensively, hasn't stopped the Bison from doing what they want to do on the offensive end, which is get open shots, and Kimball McKenzie is doing that quite well in this second half.
Another three-pointer for McKenzie. He's now 3 for 3 in the second half from deep. Hastings kicks out to E.J. Stevens, who answers with a three-pointer of his own. 77-35, Bucknell on top. Sestina working inside, and he's fouled by Sean Good.
Now they fall into the 2-3, and as you're going to see, that 2-3 enables Nate Sestina to get some open looks in the paint, and now he's finding himself at the line, and this is kind of how you want to play. Let the defense dictate what you do offensively, because they have an offense for just about every defensive look. They've prepared, and Nate Sestina is getting an opportunity to get some more points on the board.
Sestina hits the first free throw. You take a look at a couple of these Duncan three-pointers. Remember, for every three-pointer made here today by Bucknell, Duncan donating 3 pounds of coffee to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. As Sestina, one of the best free throw shooters in the country, misses the seconds. It's a 78-35 lead for Bucknell. Up by 43. Stout looking for some room underneath, and they call 5 seconds closely guarded and a foul. We'll see as the officials get together what came first. And they say the foul came first.
I don't think that's the right call.
Take another look.
There, Avi here playing good D. I'm not sure if the foul came before the 5 seconds. He had the ball for at least 6 or 7.
Nate Sestina going to check out. Paul Newman comes in to relieve him. Stevens gets it into Dylan Hastings, who flushes it home with 2 hands.
Good play there, out of bounds under by Fran O'Hanlon. As you see them drop back into their 2-3 zone.
Toomer holding for Bucknell. Bounce pass to Bruce Moore, back to Jimmy Sotos. McKenzie quickly closed out. Pass tried to get it over the top of the zone, ends up airmailing it out of bounds. Turnover for the Bison. Just their 4th of the game. Despite the big lead, Nate Davis a little frustrated with that last possession.
Just a little bit of miscommunication there.
Pass stolen by Sotos. It's a 2-on-1 ahead for Avi Toomer to the basket, and the bucket good.
What a find by Jimmy Sotos. Getting the steal, fending off the defender there. Nice bounce pass for an easy 2 for Avi Toomer.
Bison already up to 80 points in the game. Hastings, the skyhook, no. Jimmy Sotos leaves it back to Bruce Moore. Bruce drives, lefty layup good. 16 for Bruce.
They're doing whatever they want. It's a simple formula. You defend. Coach Davis is going to give you the freedom to do what you want on the offensive end. And when you have numbers, you always can get easy buckets.
Already 5 Bucknell players in double figures in points. On the drive, Tyrone Perry couldn't get it to go. Rebound to Bucknell. Sotos drives, layup good. Bison rolling.
It's just too easy. Too easy offensively. There's no resistance that the Leopards are putting forth right now. Just turning it over, not being able to get offensive rebounds, and literally just giving up layups on the other end.
Foul against Bucknell. That'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. We'll come back. 14:46 left in the second. It's Bucknell 84, Lafayette 37. Don't go anywhere. Bison basketball on MyTV, WQMY.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of Learfield IMG College.
Old school.
There's a reason why you come here. With every visit, we embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 32 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership. We're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fair deals, you're gonna love us. At Bucknell, there's only one way to gear up for college at prices any Bison can appreciate. Shop at Office Depot Office Max, the official office products supplier for Bucknell Athletics. Bucknell on pace to shatter school records here today, up 84-37 on the Lafayette Leopards. At the free throw line, shooting 2 is E.J. Stevens, after he was fouled by Paul Newman right before the commercial break, and Stevens misses the free throw. Bucknell shooting 76% from the floor. 70% from beyond the arc as Stevens makes good on the second. And Robertson has checked into the game for Bucknell out of the timeout. Reset the floor with McKenzie, Sotos, Newman, Robertson, and Andrew Funk. To turn over the Leopards the other way. Hastings pumps fakes a 3, drives, and is fouled by Paul Newman.
Nice little sequence there for the Leopards. They got a turnover, and now they get an opportunity to go to the line and cut into this lead a little bit. We're going to take a lot more of those in order to have a significant cut into this lead. But that's the kind of basketball that we were anticipating from the Leopards today. You know, coming off of a 5-game winning streak, I'm sure they did it with that type of play.
Dylan Hastings no good on the first free throw. Now, Lafayette as a team just 2 of 7 from the stripe. They came into the game second best foul shooting team in the conference and one of the top 25 in the entire nation. It's been one of those days. Hastings goes 0 for 2. All Fran O'Hanlon can do is shake his head. Robertson goes to Andrew Funk. NBA range three is good. Another three-pointer made by the Bison. That's 15. They're just 2 shy of the school record.
My, oh my, that was deep. Shot that one from Williamsport.
Driving in, Isaac Suffren. Good defense by Funk to disrupt the shot. Now here's McKenzie steaming to the basket, and the finger roll good. 18 points for Kimball McKenzie. Bucknell closing in on 90 as Hastings lays it up.
The pace of play is incredible that the Bison are playing at. They're getting stops at a really high clip, but just scoring so quickly on the other end.
Toomer for three, no good. Even with that miss, Bucknell 10 of 12 from the floor in the second half. The hot shooting has continued as a loose ball foul goes against the Bison. Goes against Ben Robertson, his first. And the fourth against Bucknell here in the second half. But, I mean, a 49-point lead for the Bison. They've led by as many as 51 here in the half. And I don't know if there's enough superlatives out there to describe the play of the Bison today.
Well, this is just a testament to a team that knows, who has championship aspirations and knows really when to turn it on come the end of Patriot League play. A team, we've pretty much titled them as the hottest team in the Patriot League, and I'm sure Coach Davis intimated that same message over to his guys, and they're responding right now.
Off the glass and good for Nate Sestina. He's got 11 points and is the 6th Bison player in double figures. We have a timeout taken by Lafayette. It's a 91-40 lead for Bucknell with 12:38 left to play. Unbelievable play from the Bison today. It'll keep coming at you on the other side of this timeout on the floor. Welcome you back here inside Soika Pavilion. 12:38 left to go. Bucknell up by 51 on Lafayette. Joined by former Bison point guard Abe Badmus, I'm Joe Vasile, and now we send it over to the third member of our crew, Paul Grippy.
All right, thanks, Joe. Well, we are in the final week of the regular season of the Patriot League here. Bucknell finds themselves in first place, but let's take a look at the rest of the remaining schedule. Only 2 games left for Bucknell. Wednesday night, they are at Navy at 7 o'clock. And then on Saturday, March 2nd, Army will be at the game right here at noon. Now, the good news is Bucknell has already beaten both of those teams this season, and both of those teams have losing records. So if Bucknell can take just a little of the effort they're putting out today into those final 2 games, they should lock up first place. Only 2 games left in the regular season. Hey, Joe, you know what comes after that, a little March Madness.
We'll see. We're going to start to get mad on Friday.
I thought it was supposed to be the under 8.
I'll tell you about madness. Coach O'Hanlon is a little mad right now with this lead.
Certainly could be, and of course it's going to be a very interesting race. As announced here inside Soika Pavilion right before tip-off was the result of the Lehigh game, as Isaac Suffren drives in, gets the bucket, and gets a foul, so he'll head to the line. They announced right before the game that Holy Cross defeated Lehigh 73-71, and that was a big loss for the Mountain Hawks and for Bucknell, because that drops Lehigh to 11-5 in the conference, puts Bucknell a half a game up. So that means a win for the Bison. They go up 1 game with 2 to play.
And that's great stuff for the Bison. Holy Cross playing pretty well as of late, but the more important thing is the games that they have on hand. The next games that they have to come with in preparation to beat whoever's in front of them. And with that in mind, you start to see things gel right before Selection Sunday, and we all hope to see the Bison's name called then.
Nate Jones hits the 16th dunk and 3-pointer of the game for the Bucknell Bison. Now just 1 shy of the school record set back in 2011. driving in, Suffren with the basket.
He's gotten a few guys just on straight line drives. There's really no one that has an answer for his foot speed out here.
Freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina, one of 5 members of the freshman class for this Lafayette team. Here's Walter Ellis. Kick out, Andrew Funk for 3. Oh my goodness. That's a school record tire and a new career high for Andrew Funk.
I mean, he just gets further and further with each three-pointer that he shoots.
He's going to shoot one from behind us if we're not careful as Alex Petrie is no good. Long up ahead for Ben Robertson. Thought about it, instead gives to Walter Ellis. Why not? For the record, no. And the rebound to Lafayette's Isaac Suffren. Ellis, a big block on Solis, who gets the rebound and can't get. Newman clears the miss for Bucknell. Funk running the point out there with Ellis. Another freshman, Paul Newman. So that pass was intended for and sailed away, stolen by Jalise. Funk with a block, it goes out of bounds. Who to touch last? They say off Bucknell. Is Tyrone Perry on the drive, rejected by the freshman Andrew Funk. That'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. 10:37 left, the freshman getting involved, and a 97-45 lead for Bucknell. Don't go anywhere. We've got records poised to fall here inside Soika.
You're watching Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQMY.
At Wendy's, we're all about serving up fresh food, even if it means going the extra mile. When you walk through our doors, we do what we can to make everyone feel at home because our family extends through your community. There you see Andrew Funk, a career-high 16 points. And here you'll see on your screen the Dunkin' Bingo meter. 3 pounds of coffee for every three-pointer made, 17 made by the Bison. That is a program tying number. The next will set a new Bucknell record. They've done 17 in a game now 3 times. Last against Western Alabama, a Division II school back in 2011. Lafayette inbounds to Sean Good, whose shot is no good. And Walter Ellis grabs the miss. Alongside Abe Badmus, Joe Vasile with you here today at Soika Pavilion. Ben Robertson on the drive, gets the layup. Those are his first 2 points of the game.
Got a lot of records on hand now. I'm not sure if any of the Bison know it, but the one that holds dear to me is the field goal percentage in the game. 71%, 71.7% I think the record was, and that was set in 2014 with my team, when my sophomore year.
That was against Navy as Alex Petrie knocks it down for 2. His first 2 points of the game. Petrie was averaging 14 points a contest coming into this one. Kick it out, Walter Ellis for 3. Bingo! There's the record.
Wow.
18 three-pointers for the Bucknell Bison, and they're over 100 points today. First time this season the Bison have eclipsed triple figures.
This is incredible.
Petrie fouled on the floor.
And the beauty of all of this is everyone's getting a piece of the action. As we see Ellis here, and that's really the story of the game, penetrating and dishing inside to out. The Bison usually shoot 58% on shots like that. Tonight, shooting much higher percentage, obviously.
18 of 26 from beyond the arc for the Bison. Suffren goes to Dylan Hastings. Miles Cherry in the game for Lafayette. Petrie steps back, 3 of his own, rattles home.
Nice move. Step back, three-pointer. Anywhere on the earth, that's a tough shot.
It's a 102-50 lead for Bucknell. Funk from deep again. He can't miss tonight.
This is incredible. I mean, we're on pace to potentially get 25 threes in this game if they stay at this pace.
It's already 19 Dunkin' Donuts three-pointers made today for the Bucknell Bison. That's a lot of coffee going to the Central PA Food Bank. Bison by 55, 57 as Andrew Funk has got 21 points. Career high for the freshman from Archbishop Wood.
Doing it any way he wants with the nice floater there in the lane. Shows you he can score in any way the defense allows him.
Petrie's three-pointer is off the mark. And the rebound goes to Bucknell. They have controlled the glass, a 33-13 advantage in rebounding today. Driving in, Alex Petrie is going to get fouled. He'll head to the free throw line on the other side of this timeout on the floor. 7:56 left to go. Bucknell 107 and Lafayette 50. Closing in on the school record for points in a game of the Bison. Don't go anywhere. Back with more on MyTV WQMY. Here you see the Wise Center for the Performing Arts here at Bucknell University. One of a great many things going around this campus, and Geisinger Orthopedics and Sports Medicine's certified athletic trainers and physicians are proud to support the Bucknell Bison. Call Geisinger Orthopedics and Sports Medicine today to schedule an appointment, 866-957-1401, or visit geisinger.org. Bucknell out in front, a 57-point lead, 107-50 over the Lafayette Leopards. 18 three-pointers made by the Bison today. That ties a Patriot League record, sets a new school record, and can't really say much more for Bucknell other than a marvelous effort on both sides of the ball today.
Yeah, you can pick any superlative you want. Marvelous, stupendous, incredible. This is a record-setting. They're on pace to not break. They've broken quite a few Bison records, but now they're trying to break some Patriot League records as well. Tying the Patriot League record for threes in a game at 18. One more three would break it and set an all-time Patriot League record.
Alex Petrie gets his 2 foul shots at the line, so he's got 7 points, all coming over the last couple of minutes. Jordan Sechin and Khalil Spear both into the game. Sechin a walk-on, Spear a freshman for Bucknell. Walter Ellis gives to Nate Jones outside. Sechin for 3, little too strong. He's a really good three-point shooter.
Good find there by Nate Jones as well.
Thought about a deep 3, did Carl Reichwein. Cherry back to Reichwein. Feeds Miles Cherry on the drive, and a whistle, a foul called. It's going to be a blocking foul against Ben Robertson. Say he was inside the restricted area.
Well, it had to be that because he was definitely on time with the help there. But I guess they saw that he was in the restricted area.
That's going to be the 4th against Ben Robertson today. So the line to shoot 2 is Miles Cherry, a junior from Newcastle, Australia. Knocks down the first free throw. Cherry no good on the second, and Sechin's going to grab the rebound out long. Nate Jones back for Sechin. Dribbled off his leg, got it back. Ellis going to try for another three-pointer, off the mark. Cherry got the miss. At this point for Lafayette, Reichwein, a little too strong on a 3. And Bucknell, you're just looking to run through your sets and make sure you execute well. Khalil Spear for 3 is off the mark. He's hit a three-pointer this year, has Spear. Shot he can knock down, just not that time.
I think people are, some guys out there thinking three-point shooting is contagious, and maybe they've caught some of that three-point flu, but I think you got to stay true to who you are out here and just play and let the game come to you.
Lafayette needs to find some three-point NyQuil. Ben Robertson on the drive gets the layup. Lead up to 109-53, Bucknell. Robertson now with 4 points in the game. Along the baseline, Hastings finishes with a pretty good slam dunk, a one-hander, rising up through the air. He's had a couple of nice dunks, but again, overshadowed by the mammoth deficit that Lafayette finds itself in. By the way, in case anyone was wondering, because I know I was, Division I record for most three-point field goals made in a game for a team is 28. So Bucknell has got a way to go there. It was by Troy against George Mason in 1994.
94, wow.
I don't remember that game.
That was before the really the three-point era really came to fruition, where guys were letting them go left and right. I mean, nowadays you see everyone getting up at least 30 to 40 attempts a game.
Kyle Stout knocks down a three-pointer. He's got 17 to tie a career high. Sechin's going to try from deep and miss. And the rebound is out by Lafayette. Yeah, I mean, back then you had certain coaches. Rick Pitino comes to mind as
Correct.
Miles Cherry gets the bucket, who really utilized the three-point line a lot. Back then when he was coaching, and I guess he was at Providence before going to the NBA for the first time. But now it seems like, kind of, like you said, every single team is hosting 25 or 33s a game.
Yeah.
As Cal Reichwein's layup in transition was no good. If you were a player now, would you like that? Would you like that it's more of a three-point oriented game?
Well, I think one thing you got to take into account is just how much confidence three-point shooting instills into a player. When the coach is telling you, hey, that's a shot that you can take and make, the confidence is sky high, and no player wants to not have confidence out on the floor.
Three-pointer for Ben Robertson is good. He becomes the 9th different Bucknell player to hit a three-pointer. They've sunk 20 in the game. We have a timeout with 4:19 left to go. 112-60. Bucknell on top of Lafayette here on MyTV WQMY. There's a reason why you come here with every visit. We embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 32 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership. We're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fair deals. You're going to love us. Alongside Abe Admis, Joe Basile here with you with 4:19 left to play at Soika Pavilion. Bucknell on top of Lafayette, 112-60. You take a look at the updated Patriot League standings. That is not assuming a Bucknell win here, though, if you want to give it to them. Bucknell looking at a one-game lead with just 2 left to go over that consortium of Lehigh and Colgate.
Yeah, looking good for the Bison right now to go ahead and put that 12 right there, but don't want to call anything until it's over. What just incredible display and rebounding back from 2 really disappointing losses on the road for the Bison. And now that they sit atop the Patriot League, they can go to these next 2 games with even more confidence, knowing all they have to do is win out in order to stay on top.
Lafayette's got it out of the timeout. A jab step move for Tyrone Perry. Now up top, Austin Evans with the touch. Perry drives, leaves out. Evans for 3, knocks it down. Senior from McKinney, Texas, knocks it down. Sechin throws it away, stolen by Isaac Suffren. And then Sechin trying to come up with the steal the other way is going to get whistled for a foul. That'll be the first against Sechin. That is number 8 against Bucknell in the half. So to the line to shoot 1 and 1 is going to be Isaac Suffren.
So you see here, Coach Fran O'Hanlon still not done coaching his team. Still has to make sure that he coaches them into good habits. They still have some things to play for because their season also isn't over. Even though tonight they came a bit short in really giving the Bison a good fight.
Suffren good on both free throws. He's got 9 points as Robertson helping Jordan Sechin get the ball into the front court. Bucknell record for most points scored in a game is 119. They did that against Colgate in 1968. Robertson tried to get to Khalil Spear. Pass was tipped. And just hanging on, but 5 to shoot. Sechin's teardrop off the back rim, no. Rebounded by Bucknell. Nate Jones steps into a 3. And it's rebounded by Dylan Hastings. Bison starting to cool off from the floor a little bit as in transition bucket good for Evans. He's got 5 points off the bench. Screen from Spear. Sechin guarded tightly by Tyrone Perry. Robertson sends it to Sechin and nearly threw it to me. You're going to have to protect me on that one as Sean Good comes up with a big block on Jordan Sechin's take to the basket. Jay Vaughn is going to come off the bench for Lafayette. Talked about the three-point shooting in this game. Bucknell, 20 of 34. Lafayette, a respectable 11 of 26. I mean, that's really good.
It's really good.
It's been overshadowed as off the catch and shoot. Spear can get it to go at the end of the shot clock. Vaughn pump fakes a three. Instead, he'll cycle it around. Far side. This is Evans having it roll out. Good got the tip in. First 2 points for Sean Good.
A little too late, but the Leopards are really clicking offensively now and getting stops, obviously, on the defensive end.
Nate Jones's pass goes out of bounds. We're talking a little bit about Nate Jones and the basketball legacy of his family. Earlier today, Paul Grippy, of course, you know his father Mike, head coach down at Radford. Their father Jimmy Jones played in the ABA and the NBA for many years. So we have a foul called. It's going to go against Walter Ellis.
It's a great lineage to have when you have 3 generations of really legendary basketball players. Nate Jones, in his own right, has had a wonderful and illustrious career here with the Bison, and hoping to finish it off with another tournament appearance.
Certainly, and of course, just this week, he was named to the Google Cloud Academic All-District Team, which is a 5-player team. And because he's been named to the All-District Team, he's now eligible and a finalist to be a Google Cloud Academic All-American, something that Bucknell hasn't had since 2013. Stay with the Bison off that feed. That was tipped by Lafayette. Sechin looking for somewhere to go, gets it to Spear. Inside 2 minutes to go. Jones gets fouled and will head to the free throw line.
Good post feed there. And really fighting for position by Nate Jones, giving himself an opportunity to get 2 more for the Bison.
Jones knocks it down. He's got 6 points now in the game. It's funny, in talking about the ABA, Fran O'Hanlon actually played a year in the ABA as well after he graduated from Villanova.
Yeah, I was going to say that quite a interesting set of schools that Bucknell is associated with. It seems like every now and then you hear Villanova being associated with Bucknell and Fran O'Hanlon.
Yeah, I feel like there's
somebody,
some,
right?
Some alumni.
Some guy.
Of course, Jay Wright, who we're referring to.
That's who it is. That's who it is.
Bucknell graduate back in '83. And you were around a couple times playing Villanova, right? After Jay Wright first got there?
Played him a few times. Had a really good game down here against them when they had Randy Foy, Alan Ray, Mike Nardi.
Those are some good teams.
And a guy named Kyle Lowry, if you've never heard of him.
Pretty good players on those early 2000s Nova teams. 3 coming from Jay Vaughn, who knocks it down. Freshman out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. There's some greats have come through the Patriot League as well. We know Mike Muscala in the NBA from Bucknell. They just raised C.J. McCollum's jersey to the rafters in Lehigh earlier today.
I got one for you. Number 12, Austin Evans.
Sure.
From Texas.
Yep.
Went to the Green Hill School, who was coached by Jay Andrews.
3-pointer for Jordan Sechin. His first points of the year.
Jay Andrews, who was a Bison basketball player here in the 80s with Jay Wright.
Take another look at the feed from Ben Robertson around 2 Lafayette players to Jordan Seachin.
That thing was high in the air. Dropped right in the ocean. Way to shoot the ball there by Jordan Seachin, who is wearing my former number, so I'm really glad to see him put some points on the board.
Got a long legacy that you gotta keep up if you're wearing number 5 here.
Gotta uphold it.
Paul Newman's gonna check into the game for Bucknell. Ben Robertson has a seat on the bench. Bison 3 points shy of tying the school record for most points in a game. They're already at the most points in a game in the Nate Davis era. Previously been 115 against Siena last year. A long tradition, of course, your old teammate Kevin Betancourt doing a great job coaching at the Division III level.
Absolutely is.
Nate Jones going to try a 3 and leaves it short. But he grabs the miss and goes up for the dunk and the exclamation point on the game.
Raise the roof. Raise the roof.
118-76. Bucknell and Lafayette will let time expire. What an effort from start to finish for the Bucknell Bison, a new program record and Patriot League record. 21 three-pointers made in the game for the Bison as they snap a 2-game losing streak and end Lafayette's 5-game winning streak in one fell swoop. And they're in the driver's seat to clinch yet another Patriot League regular season championship.
Just like that, Bison are back on top, and hopefully they can stay on top, finishing it through the rest of this month and obviously in March.
We'll take a step aside when we come back. Post-game here from Soika Pavilion, fight 1876.
Bucknell Bison Basketball on MyTV WQMY is brought to you by Fairfield Auto, Wendy's, quality is our choice, and by Geising.
Bucknell improves to 18-10 by beating Lafayette 118-76 in a record-setting day. First of all, Bruce Moore, a player of the game, you had 16 points. How does a game like this come together? You must have had some great practices and come in really prepared today.
Well, Coach been really preaching drive and kick, see the open man, and we've done that all night. And you see, I went 7-7, and Kimball went 7-7, so we had a great team game.
What's the scouting report on Lafayette? Let's take the three-pointer to them.
We know that they have some lapses in their defense, so it's get what we can get, but if the three is open, yeah, take it. We got shooters.
Now, you're coming off 2 losses in a row. I have to imagine that motivated you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Was it a little more intense since the second loss?
Oh, yeah, big time. I think they're 4th or 5th in the league, and they won 5 in a row, so it's a big game to win.
All right, thanks a lot, Bruce Moore. And we have Jimmy Sotos. He had 17 points, including 3 three-pointers. You guys are a good three-point shooting team to begin with, but why so good today?
We spent a lot of time in practice working on it. We emphasized, like Bruce said, driving and kicking. So in practice, that's what we worked on, just getting our feet set and shooting with confidence.
Where does this fit in with the season? Well, I mean, would you say this has been the best team performance this season? What do you guys think of the way you played today?
This was kind of reminiscent of our UNLV game, where guys, everything was clicking, guys were trusting each other, getting the ball moving. And when we're running, getting stops and playing the open court, we're really tough to beat. So this was definitely a big win for us.
And how important is this for this to come now, last week of the regular season? You'll be in the playoffs in 10 days.
Yeah, we definitely want to get some momentum going into the playoffs. We still haven't secured the #1 spot, so we got to get a couple more wins to do that. But yeah, this is definitely big moving forward for us.
What's the feeling that you guys have now compared to a few days ago when you had 2 losses in a row? What's the difference in the feeling?
We feel a little bit better now, obviously. No one likes losing, but we got to keep our foot on the gas, and we can't let up right now, get too comfortable. We can't be too content with this win. We got to stay aggressive with it.
You think Coach Davis is going to find anything to complain about in this game?
He'll find something, I'm sure.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy Sotos, one of our players of the game, but an all-around team effort on both ends of the floor. Joe, last week of the season, it came at the right time.
Thank you very much, Paul. It was a fantastic game for the Bucknell Bison. A 118-76 win over Lafayette, joined by former Bison point guard Abe Badmus. Joe Vasile here postgame. Let's take a look at the updated standings in the Patriot League. You see Bucknell with the win, 18-10 overall, 12-4 in the league, a 1-game lead over Lehigh and Colgate. They've got the tiebreaker in hand with Lehigh. They split with Colgate. There's a lot that still needs to get figured out over these final 2 conference games, Abe, but the one thing that we know for sure is the ball is in Bucknell's court, so to speak. If they win, they can wrap it up with 2 wins this week and not have to worry about any kind of tiebreakers.
Yeah, they control their own destiny, and you want to be in the driver's seat at this point of the season. That's exactly what the Bison have put themselves in a position to do. Shout out to Coach Davis for motivating his guys after 2 really tough losses to make them to respond like this and set records all over the league and in Bison history. It's something to say about him.
At 21 3-pointers for the Bucknell Bison today. We'll take a look. That means, of course, Duncan going to donate 63 pounds of coffee to the Central PA Food Bank as they've teamed up here with Bucknell to do good in the community. And, well, the Bison certainly obliged with their 21 3-pointers made here today. Next game for Bucknell going to be a couple of days from now on the road down at Navy before they wrap things up at home against Army on Saturday. Then it's Patriot League tournament time. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. For my partner, Abe Badmus, sideline reporter Paul Grippy, and the entire Fox 56 sports crew, my name is Joe Vasile. So long from Soika Pavilion, where the Bucknell Bison are victorious over the Lafayette Leopards, 118-76. Have a great Sunday, everybody.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.